you. say it right now, 'cause you don't have another day. 'Cause we're moving on and we can't slow down. These memories are playing like a film without sound. And I keep thinking of that night in June. I didn't know much of love, but it came too soon. And it was me and you, and then we got real blue. Stay at home talking on the telephone, and we would get so excited and we'd get so scared, laughing at ourselves, thinking life's not fair. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. So if we get the big jobs and we make the big money, when we look back now, will our jokes still be funny? Will we still remember everything we learned in school? Still be trying to break every single rule? Will little brainy Bobby be the stockbroker man? Can he ever find a job that won't interfere with the tan? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking it's our time to fly. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. Will we think about tomorrow like we think about now? Can we survive it out there? Can we make it somehow? I guess I thought that this would never end, and suddenly it's like we're women and men. Will the past be a shadow that will follow us round? Will these memories fade when I leave this town? I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. I keep on thinking it's our time to fly. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever, we will still be friends forever.
"60 years of educational heritage." The Milford Campus of Southeast Community College. The college had its beginning in 1941 from a bill presented in the Nebraska legislature by the late Stanley Matsky Sr. of Seward County. Matsky's bill called for the creation of the Nebraska State Trade School, using the former Soldiers and Sailors Home at the college's present site in Milford. Matsky envisioned a school to train for peacetime trades, helping individuals to become worthwhile citizens. The creation of the Nebraska State Trade School was cited as a step forward into the state's future. The school began with 7 buildings on 40 acres of land and has evolved to the nationally recognized institution we know today. Jess Jewell was appointed as acting part-time administrator in 1941, and through his efforts was able to open the school only 34 days after the legislature approved its creation. The early years were difficult for the new school. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the original intent for training was delayed, and instead work was done to aid in national defense. Hundreds of young men and women came to the school to be trained as radio mechanics, repairmen, and machine operators. The school operated 24 hours a day during 1942 and 1943. In 1945, Lowell Welsh became the school's first full-time resident director. His commitment to vocational training would play a major role in the history of Nebraska education. Welsh was faced with the task of transforming the institution from providing training for national defense to its original purpose of meeting the training needs of a peacetime economy. Little money was provided for equipment or facilities, but Welsh and his staff always found ways to make necessary facility expansions and to obtain needed equipment at a minimum cost to the state. In the early 1950s, both Lowell Welsh and Stan Matsky overcame opponents attempting to close the school on 3 different occasions, thus allowing the first official graduation of students to be held in 1954. A devastating tornado that hit Milford and the school in April of 1957 seemed likely to close the school forever. But Lowell Welsh was not to be stopped. Welsh began an aggressive rebuilding campaign that paved the way in creating the modern facilities we know today. In 1959, a legislative bill changed the name of Nebraska State Trade School to the Nebraska Vocational Technical School. With a new name, new facilities, and a growing student population, the school was well on its way to success. By the early 1960s, Nebraska Vocational Technical School had established its place in history. Because of the school's success, school supporters were able to bring Legislative Bill 115 to reality. In March of 1961, Governor Frank Morrison signed this bill, authorizing $550,000 for the construction of a new single-unit classroom lab facility. The plan called for a 2-story, 180,000-square-foot building to be constructed in several phases. By 1962, the first section on the north was complete, and work began on the south section. In 1963, with both construction phases complete, the facility was dedicated at the annual open house. A new dormitory, Cornhusker Hall, was constructed in 1964 to help accommodate a growing student population. By 1968, the campus skyline included the Lowell A. Welsh Center, the student activities building for the campus. Nebraska Vocational Technical School would become Nebraska Technical College in 1971. The new name was to be short-lived because of legislation in that same year creating community college districts throughout Nebraska. By 1973, the Southeast Community College area had grown to include 15 counties, and a new board of governors were appointed by Governor Jim Exon. One of the new board's first tasks was to appoint a president for the Southeast Community College area. The board appointed Dr. Robert Eicher to the position in August of 1973. Eicher, who had served under Lowell Welsh from 1951 to 1969, began the historical task of shaping Southeast Community College into a nationally recognized educational institution. Eicher is recognized as both a pioneer in vocational education and a leader in the state's community college system. To honor Eicher's lifelong dedication to excellence in education, the main building on the Milford Campus was officially named and dedicated on May 4, 1991 as the Robert S. Eicher Technical Center. In 1973, as the transition from Nebraska Technical College to Southeast Community College began, Lowell Welsh would officially retire after 28 years of dedicated leadership. Welsh, a man of vision and determination, can be credited with building from the ground up a modern and sophisticated vocational technical education institution. In 1972, G. Allen Dunlap, a longtime businessman and banker from the Milford community, was appointed to the Southeast Community College Board of Governors. Dunlap began a 16-year term of service that helped establish the Milford Campus as a nationally respected educational institution. He was reappointed to the board in 1973 after the 15-county area was officially formed. In 1975, Allen Dunlap became the co-founder and a member of the Southeast Community College Educational Foundation and remained a member until his death in 1994. His devotion and commitment to education was demonstrated by his creation of the Farmers and Merchants Outstanding Faculty and Staff Awards in 1983. His outstanding service and contributions to the Milford campus were honored with the naming and dedication of the G. Allen Dunlap Center on June 1st, 1997. Upon Lowell Welsh's retirement in 1973, Dr. Robert Klobenish became campus director in early 1974. During his era, improvements in lighting, ceilings, and paved parking were made for the campus. The women's dorm, known as Pioneer Hall, was completed in 1979. Building additions were also made to the diesel and welding areas, and the Learning Resource Center was dedicated at the annual open house in May of 1979 as the Stanley A. Matsky Learning Resource Center. A maintenance building was also built in 1979 to house all of the physical plant services under one roof. These were all major achievements of the college under the leadership of Dr. Klobenish. His vision and implementation skills helped to produce written course curriculums for all classes and to achieve a 10-year accreditation for the Milford campus by the North Central Association in 1978. When Klobenish left the Milford campus in December of 1983, Dr. Thomas C. Stone was hired as campus director beginning in July of 1984. Stone, a South Dakota native with previous experience as director of another community college, brought new insights to the Milford campus. His experience with vocational education helped the Milford campus to grow and expand new technologies. Stone's leadership helped to develop building additions, program growth, and student growth, and helped thrust the Milford campus forward to meet the educational demands of a high-tech job market. In 1985, General Motors selected Milford campus as the regional site for the Automotive Service Education Program. In 1986, Milford was chosen to host the new GM Training Center. Milford was also selected in 1986 as the Nebraska site for AutoCAD training in cooperation with Autodesk. Under Dr. Stone's leadership, the Milford campus was selected in 1988 as the location for the nation's first John Deere Ag Tech program and for the John Deere Ag Parts program in 1990. The Industry Training Center was constructed in 1991 to house the John Deere industry programs. After Stone's retirement in 1995, Southeast Community College began steps to reorganize the structure of administration, facilities, and resources as one college. During this transition, Larry Shaw, who had served as assistant director under Robert Klobenish and Tom Stone, was named as the Milford campus administrator. Under the leadership of Larry Shaw, the college established a Chrysler Corporation training program known as CAP in 1997. Shaw would also oversee the purchase of land located west of the current college campus. The additional land will provide growth for the campus in future years. By the year 2000, Larry Shaw was working with Milford City officials on the construction of a new street in front of the Eicher Technical Center. Work also began on the remodeling of the old President's House into the new assessment and career placement offices. The Southeast Community College area is under the leadership of President Dr. Jack Huck. The campus administrators are Jeanette Volker of Lincoln and Energy Square, Dennis Hedrick of Beatrice, and Larry Shaw as campus administrator of Milford. Shaw also serves as Director of Technology for all of the Southeast Community College campuses. Buildings, equipment, acts of nature, and acts of politicians all are a part of the Milford campus history. But the real story of the Milford campus is a story about people. It is the story of hundreds of dedicated faculty and staff members who have taught or provided services to the school over the years. And of course, it is the story about students. the thousands who have walked through the campus doors since 1941 to reach their educational and career goals. The Milford Campus has a history rich in quality and pride for vocational education that has reached across the land since its beginning. As we look to the future, we move forward to continue this Milford Campus tradition.